Afternoon. It's raining out there. So you know what that means. Traffic was what it was. It's okay. Happy to see everybody today. I am calling to order the Nashville MTA board meeting. And first, I will do a roll call. Jeff Haynes, Gail Carr-Williams, President, and Catherine Hayes.
Here.
We are all here, and, I get to do some really cool things as board chair. Some hard things every now and then, but for the most part, very cool things. And today, I get to acknowledge some winners. Some sure enough winners, some competitors, and we have people over here who represent MTA. We go in so many different ways, and to be able to bring them in front of everybody and sort of cheer them on, not just in the rodeo, but hopefully they feel the cheers when they do their regular job as well. So, hey, y'all ready? Let's talk about you all? Okay. So, for context, each year we celebrate the best at WeGo with recognition of our rodeo team. Locally, we hold a system-wide bus and maintenance rodeo where contestants test their skills on a timed obstacle course for bus operators and in detecting and repairing planted defects on bus systems for our mechanics. To qualify, our local rodeo contestants must already have exemplary records in safety, attendance, and customer service. To simply participate, you must already be one of the best we have. To win takes even more. This past month, our best competed against the best from the entire state of Tennessee at the annual Tennessee Public Transportation Association Rodeo, hosted by Knoxville Area Transit in Knoxville, Tennessee. Once again, WeGo's finest represented us well and with excellence. So, if I can ask the entire team to stand for a moment while I announce the winners, we would like them to take, and we would also like you to take a few photos after this. A couple of pics, do you? Okay, good. In the cutaway van division, the type of vehicle we operate for access ride is the cutaway. Scott Wallace. Joyce Banks. Yeah, Joyce. And Paul Meyer. Is Paul not here today? Okay, they all competed. Joyce. Yeah, Joyce took home the Big Wheel Award with the first place finish. I'm so proud of y'all, and Joyce told me this is not even her first time. I love that. In the 30 division, Jerome Horton, Michael Patterson, and Mark Johnson competed. And Mark Johnson placed third. In the bus maintenance division, Troy Willis and Pedro Ochoa, did I pronounce that right? Okay, thank you. Competed with Pedro, bringing home the Big Wrench Award with the first place finish, and Troy Willis placing second. Woo! Now, finally, the van maintenance division, Martise Covington and Winston Francis competed. Woo-hoo! And Winston placed third. Woo-hoo! And of course, every winning team has that supporting cast. It's got those coaches and those assistant coaches and literally dozens of our employees and family members supported rodeo team as judges and helping with event logistics. Leading our rodeo support team are Carl Rokas. Hey, Carl, there you are. Chris Vick. And Gabe Burgess. Gabe is not here today?
He's on vacation.
Oh, that's okay. I guess he's entitled. Why not? And the mayor of MTA, Carl Dean. Daquilla Brooks and Jamar Wilson. Are they here? And last but most, unequivocally, and for how long? So long, so wonderfully long. Everybody know who we getting ready to talk about, right? The king of the rodeo. You know you king, girl. You know you the king. King of the rodeo. Sarah, I don't even have to completely say your name. And you know, everybody knows that both at the state and local level, you are a man whose record of longevity and winning in this event rivals any college or professional coach. You are our very own safety manager and rodeo head coach, Earl Rhodes. So if we can just get another round of applause for everyone. But I'm going to remind y'all, we're going to be back here again with this celebration because they're going to nationals. They going, right? We're going to nationals, right? And they're going to Salt Lake City. And everybody across the country are going to know what we know, right? They're going to know We Go was here, and We Go are winners, and We Go is excellent, not only in the rodeo, but in keeping Nashvillians safe and keeping Nashvillians getting to place that they need to go. We thank y'all so much, and we're so proud of you all for so many things. And King Earl, no buyouts here for you. You got to stay. None of that kind of coaching stuff. You got to stay coaching here. We love it. We love you and appreciate all that you do. Who did? Katie, you won an award. Stand up, Katie. Katie Froyberg. Woo! Huh? I didn't. We can talk about Katie more than once because she is worthy, and she keeps us, and she keeps the routes going the way they need to go to, and she sort of brings a calm into the room and everything that she does, so she wins with us all the time. So we can talk about Katie all day long. I'll let Steve say what the award was. We'll leave everybody in suspense, okay? So we could just sort of get together and take pictures. And Joyce, way to look out for Katie. Thank you very much. Huh? You kind of bossy like that? I just think you're kind of kind, and you're just a winner all the way around. And you like to be around winners. That's all right. It works. Okay. Is it time for pictures? Did I miss anybody else that got an award that I should say you got an award? Anybody else? We all good? Okay, let's go. Let's take pictures. We'll take a break and we'll take pictures and we'll come right back to our agenda. Thank y'all. We're gonna go take pictures with winners. You want mine? Took off my glasses. Now I don't know what I did with them. Yeah. Okay, that was fun. I love celebrating our drivers and our mechanics. They're amazing, and I hope I said it enough to them in all that they do. And we are just so lucky to have such committed staff members here. So next, if I can have a motion for approval of the October 23rd, 2025 MTA board minutes.
I move for approval.
There's a motion and there's a second. Are there any additions, deletions, or comments? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. Aye.
Aye.
The motion carries. Next on our agenda are public comments. And just a reminder for those providing public comments that there is a timer in front of you and you all have 2 minutes for your public comments. First, I have our council member, Quinn Evans Siegel. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, Chair. Congratulations to all the rodeo winners. I think we only got 3 left in the room. Those were some really amazing looking trophies for folks at home who didn't get to see them. And good luck to the Nationals. You get me today because my colleagues who wanted to be here at the National League of Cities and asked me as Chair of Transportation and Infrastructure Committee for the council to come and speak to you. We have had ongoing conversations, as y'all may know, around Journey Pass, and just wanted to update you on some recent conversations that have happened at council that they really wanted to share with you today. As some of you are aware, the Journey Pass program was significantly accelerated due to the federal shutdown. So I want to thank WeGo for doing that. During the shutdown, even though we only expected to issue a few hundred Journey Passes, WeGo was able to issue 4,500 Journey Passes to local residents who needed them. We really appreciate the work that WeGo did on that. We're concerned, though, that 4,500 Journey Passes doesn't come close, and I only have 54 seconds, so sorry, you're about to get speed round here. Doesn't come close to the 60,000 SNAP recipients in Nashville or the 60,000 federal workers who not get paid for several weeks and may not have qualified for a Journey Pass, but were on significantly reduced income during that time. One thing council has pushed for, I'd like to continue conversations with this board around, is some sort of process for emergency suspension of fares, whether it is a federal funding freeze, whether it is a federal shutdown, whether it's tornadoes or massive flooding. There may be times where it makes sense to waive fares, and we need to be able to partner together quickly. Crises are moments that test whether or not we're prepared. I think what we saw is the staff was really prepared to jump in and issue more passes, but when it came to actually working together to make the kinds of changes we needed system-wide to meet the needs of the tens of thousands of people in Nashville, we could have done better, and we would like to do better, and we think that putting together a policy where we can waive fares together is really the right way to go, and we hope you'll consider doing that.
Thank you so much. And I meant to have made some comments that I sort of prepared prior to public comments. And I got so excited about the rodeo that I sort of went off. So I know I have another public comment, but I want to sort of share some reflections that I have as board chair. And I should have done it before, so please accept my apologies for being a little bit out of order. But I wanted to say before we really got to our business, because I think it's important to give some context to an important program that WeGo has been piloted, and somewhat to your comments, in collaboration with the mayor's office and so many of our social service agency partners. In that program is the Journey Pass, a free bus program for income eligible individuals and families. That was a signature element in Mayor Freddie O'Connell's Choose How You Move Transit Improvement Program. Overwhelmingly approved by the voters, as we all know, of Davidson County just a little bit over a year ago. Over the course of the past 8 months, our staff have been working with our partners in the mayor's office and at several collaborating social service agencies within the metro government to design this program and to plan for its rollout. Our Deputy Chief Executive Office for Finance and Administration, Amanda Vandegrift, and our Director of Customer Care and Communications, Zeta Riggs, have been spearheading this effort for WeGo with cooperation from many others in the agency. You may recall that Amanda did brief us as a board on this program back in August, indicating that they were initiating a pilot phase of the program with several social service agencies. To test the program itself before the program is presented to this board for the adoption. And the testing was really to ensure that we could eventually roll it out in a way that did serve our citizens of Nashville, and hopefully more seamlessly by piloting that program. The pilot program and accelerating the implementation of the pilot program became even more urgent on November 1st, when the federal government shutdown resulted in the loss of supplemental nutrition assistance program that most people commonly refer to as SNAP, benefits to thousands of residents of Davidson County. WeGo, along with our social service agency partners, were called upon to help in this time of critical need in our community. And on so many other occasions, we responded instantly and in an outstanding fashion. As of October 31st, the day before the shutdown, we had already distributed 2,500 passes through the pilot. Partnering with the Metro Action Commission, MDHA, the Metro Public Health Department, Metro Social Services, Metro Public Schools, HERO Program, and the Metro Office of Homeless Services, we massively expanded distribution efforts within 2 days to help with the community crisis. Partner agencies accelerated training of their staff in the operation of the program and held numerous sign-up events. We also activated large-scale sign-ups at the Elizabeth Duff Transit Center at WeGo Central with many of our staff offering to work overtime to help process the applicants. So many people WeGo deserve a tremendous amount of credit for this rapid response. But I particularly want to call out our Director of Communications and Customer Care, who led the staff effort to enroll thousands of Nashvillians in this program while simultaneously doing their job. Zeta Riggs is always you stand in and you stand up in some of the most adverse of moments. And I've been on this board for an exceptionally long time, and you've been riding with me pretty much a lot of it. And I have watched you over the many years stand up for Nashvillians in ways that people just don't even know that it's you that's doing it. So if I could just sort of say this time, I want to make certain we all say it publicly about how you stand in. And I appreciate you and I admire you deeply. So thank you for your work last week. To date, the results have been overwhelmingly positive. In the first 3 weeks of this month, the number of Journey Passes and distribution has increased from 2,500 to over 5,000, and over 70,000 individual trips have been taken with the Journey Pass cards. Maybe even more important than these impressive statistics is the heartfelt appreciation of individual users. You know, I've been really grateful to sort of look on social media. I don't really do it too much myself, but we do a pretty good job, and to see so many customers saying how grateful and how thankful they are that they had this opportunity. in light of a change that occurred sort of suddenly for many of them. And many of them said the Journey Pass have used the words like it's been transformational for them, life-changing and a blessing. Many recipients have also offered hugs. I think somebody tried to hug Steve. I don't know. Many recipients have also offered hugs and handshakes to our staff. And as a result of these amazing efforts of our staff and our social service agency, I want to make certain I talk about all of Nashville too, because our social service agencies in this city stood up as well to make certain that they were able to communicate to those they serve that the passes were available for them. So, and as a result of these efforts, we also received recognition in a national trade publication for our efforts that we undertook during this crisis. Fortunately, the federal government passed legislation to end the shutdown, and SNAP benefits are once again flowing into the hands of needy recipients. But for the more than 5,000 people who now have Journey Passes, and the thousands more that will continue to enroll in the coming months and years, this life-changing program will provide immeasurable benefits for many years to come. I want to thank you to WeGo. I also want to thank the mayor's office and thank the mayor for his vision to even have this program as part of Choose How We Move, and that this is available. I think last month I may have talked a little bit about how you establish road position and how my dad taught me about that in driving, but it was really about preparedness. And I think that one thing that I did see about our staff and our leadership is that while we weren't necessarily totally ready, but we were prepared. And we were prepared to move into a space that we could provide what we could at that moment for so many Nashvilleians. And as chair of this board, I am very proud of the efforts, the work, and I am proud of our citizens for being patient with us to allow us an opportunity to use what we had available to us and build this infrastructure and go forward. Now that we have it, we will continue to move forward to make certain that our Nashvilleians have equity in transit. We will continue to make certain that our riders have grace and dignity as they ride our buses. And as you could just see from all of our rodeo recipients, they're going to be riding safely, and they are going to be riding on very well-oiled machines, because our mechanics too are working very hard to make certain that Nashville and Nashvilleians have the opportunity to ride transit and ride equitable transit in Nashville. More work to do, more work to come, and I am grateful that I have the opportunity to sort of talk about it and celebrate something that happened as a result of something else that was out of our control. But WeGo, thank you very much for all that you did. Thank you. And with that, thank you. And with that, I do have another public comment, and I am sorry that I sort of put you on hold, but I wanted to make certain that I put that there. And our next person is it Adam Nicholson? Mr. Nicholson, I do apologize that I took moments, but hopefully that was okay. Thank you.
Thank you so much, and I'm speaking on Journey Pass too. So it's great to hear about all the success so far, and I want to express appreciation from transit advocates that have been in the city for a very long time, hoping for this kind of program to come along. So 5,000, I could celebrate that with everybody easily. I think what I could echo is the comments of the council member talking about in the event of future crises, maybe there's other opportunities to pursue a temporary fare freeze. That was an initiative that picked up a lot of community support. I think unanimous support from the council and a resolution and many local organizations. So if that could just be humored in some way as an option, say more strategies to meet the crisis as they emerge. Who knows what's going to happen in Washington? God forbid there's more government shutdowns, but it looks like that's a possibility. Otherwise, to get the benefits, the Journey Pass out, other cities have done things like mailing these passes directly to customers if they're known to qualify. I just wonder if that could be considered as an option. There's a lot more buy-in from cities that have that direct access, but also want to celebrate how ambitious these sign-ons have been and the success of all the Metro partners getting those off the ground. But just on point more, the idea of direct mailing, I wonder if that could be addressed as an option. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And those are all of the public comment requests that I have today. So that will close our public comments portion of our agenda. Thank you, Council Lady. Thank you for joining us. Any other public comments? Hearing none, we will move on with our agenda. Information only items. We have 3 items on the information only. Would any board member like to take any of those out to have a discussion? Hearing none, we will move on further. We have no items in our consent agenda and operations and finance. I'm just going to call all the agenda items since Ms. Dobbin could not be with us today. First, I'm going to move around a little bit if you are. What time is it? We're good? Okay, okay. First, I'm not moving around. Katie, we get to call you one more time. We're just going to keep calling you all day today, Kate. Just.
So if I can jump in, just because I know you're all under great suspense.
We are.
As to what Joyce announced. At the same State Transit Association conference where our successful rodeo team was victorious, Ms. Katie Freudberg was announced as the State Transit Support Employee of the Year by the Tennessee Public Transportation Association. There's nothing I like to do more 5 seconds before Katie starts a presentation than embarrass her.
Oh, we're celebrating you. We're celebrating ourselves because we have you. You're ours. This is amazing.
But to make it even more impressive, to show that she is not single-faceted in just being the service development person extraordinaire, she couldn't even be at the event because as a mom and parent, her priorities were in the right place. So I think Nick actually accepted the award on her behalf, which is a little weird, but in any case, I haven't seen it in Nick's office, so I'm assuming that it headed in the
We
right
look like twins, Steve, so.
You mean like the mayor of Wego and the former mayor of Nashville?
Yeah. That's you, Carl. Well, with that, Katie, now that you are indeed a rock star, not only here, but everywhere, let's go.
Okay, now that I'm thoroughly embarrassed, I'll have something special for Joyce at markup. So today I'll be reviewing the quarterly route performance report. I'll go through the ridership fairly quickly, and then I primarily want to focus on a recent bus priority pilot downtown that we did in partnership with NDOT and MNPD. So much of the ridership and performance for this quarter was a continuation of what we've been seeing over the past year or so. Relatively steady ridership on the frequent routes with strong growth on the 56 Gallatin Pike in particular. And then very strong growth on connector routes as passengers continue to shift, especially towards Route 75 and 77 with the service improvements that we made last year. Moving to the 4th Avenue bus priority project. So 3 of WeGo's routes, the Route 6 Lebanon, 52 Nolensville, and 55 Murfreesboro Pike travel down 4th Avenue through downtown. Together, these account for about 30% of system ridership in the evening. And the 52 and 55 are 2 of our busiest routes. But we have a large number of operational challenges on 4th Avenue, probably one of the most challenging segments of any of our routes, especially at 4th and Broadway, just due to the high pedestrian volumes there. There's extremely high levels of pedestrians, and especially as the night goes on, a lot of them do not abide by the light or by anything. This results in really low travel speeds through that area, often under 2 miles an hour, and on some nights it has taken buses over an hour to go a quarter of a mile. This results in unpredictable travel times for both passengers on board and people waiting for the bus. as well as really frustrating conditions for the bus operators. As you might imagine, this is not one of the most popular assignments, so it's often also our newest operators who are trying to go through this intersection. The Connect Downtown plan does include moving these routes to Rosa Parks, 8th Avenue, but we're not able to move this volume of buses over to 8th until we have the infrastructure requirements and improvements to bus stops there, just due to the volume of passengers and buses that would be on that road with that shift. So as part of a larger pilot project that NDOT and MNPD did on Broadway for pedestrian safety, NDOT included a bus priority lane on 4th Avenue from Church Street to just south of Broadway. It was about 1,000 feet. It required 17 officers to staff. That included controlling access to the lane, access from garages, managing traffic, and about half of that was dedicated to controlling pedestrian traffic at the intersections, especially at 4th and Broadway. So these are just some images from the pilot. NDOT and MNPD were out there with us, working through challenges with this. We did make adjustments. It was truly treated as a pilot. So from the first night, they were ready to make changes to it in the field. That included a change to the starting point on the first night, just due to bottlenecks that were forming, moving some of the signage, changing sign placement. In the third weekend, we actually shifted buses from the curb lane to the center lane to reduce the number of conflicts with pedestrians. And then later in the pilot, we also started using the bus lane to flush traffic strategically when bottlenecks were preventing buses from even getting to the bus lane. Overall, this pilot was very effective in reducing travel times on 4th Avenue. So you can see here the darker blue is average travel time on Friday and Saturday nights last year, and the green is average travel time by hour of day this year. It was also very effective in reducing the variability and the spikes in travel time that we've seen. So again, the darker blue here is the highest travel time of the night for every night in September and October of last year, compared to the highest travel time of the night this year, so the worst case of the night. And just to note on the left, the axis, that is 60 minutes, 1 hour for that segment from MLK down to Demonbreun. So you can see that even our worst night this year, which was Halloween, not surprisingly, our travel times looked like a pretty average weekend of last year. Outside of the graphs, which I thought looked very nice, operators also, experienced a much less challenging trip through downtown with this. It's still, still challenging. And we also had customers who expressed that, they appreciated not having to wait so long for the bus or be on the bus so long after being on their feet for, one man said after being on his feet for 16 hours, it was really nice not to have to wait an extra hour for the bus to go down 4th Avenue. So as far as next steps, we're working with NDOT and MNPD to pilot extending this to major special events, which have similar traffic profiles, continuing to make adjustments to increase effectiveness and reduce impacts on other traffic, and then to work on identifying a sustainable long-term plan to get buses through downtown safely and efficiently. That concludes my report. I'm happy to take any questions.
Thank you for the report, Katie, and congratulations on the award.
Thank you.
And children always prevent you from being someplace else at some point in time. So shouts to you for the children. I wanted to thank you for this work. I think this is fantastic. I think this is an incredibly difficult portion of Nashville to navigate. And I appreciate the partnerships that we're forming with NDOT and MNPD to tackle this. And so I think this is incredible, and the ability to sort of pivot the pilot as needed in the moment is really great. So hats off to everyone that was involved in this.
Agreed, great job. Anything further for Katie? Congrats.
Thank you.
Mr. Malone, Award of Strategic Planning.
Thank you, Madam Board Chair, and good afternoon, Board. Today, I'm here to bring item number MA 25-050, the Award of Strategic Planning on On-Call Contracts, excuse me. The Metro Transit Authority of Nashville and Davidson County sought to award contracts to consulting firms to provide expertise and consulting resources on an as-needed basis. We saw this as a need as we kind of move forward with the growth and demand that is on WeGo as we move forward with Choose How You Move. A statement of work was developed and established to focus on the expertise of areas that would drive best-in-class performance and delivery of strategic planning, performance management, business process optimization, and customer experience, just to name a few. For that reason, WeGo looked to create a pool of firms and expertise in broad range of industry sectors and areas of expertise. The firms looked at opportunities that were 15 different scopes. I would name, if you like, I can name all of them, but as you can see and read there, we looked at the whole organization as a whole and where we could find good optimization, good business challenges that we saw in and out, and ways that we could improve and be better and bring about best-in-class performance. Upon award, and under the direction of WeGo Public Transit, the consultants will be called on to perform any of the combination of tasks listed in the board action item. They will be awarded task orders for identified projects, and WeGo Public Transit will provide the general scopes of work. The consultants will work with WeGo staff and be integrated into the efforts to advise WeGo on how to, in best way, including the board, best way to put things in moving forward for this organization. Best practices, development and implementation of tools, facilitating and review selection of agency priorities, just to name a few. This will improve our business practices, but also to help us in areas such as budget, finance, and systems as we kind of move forward with our organization and implementing strategic initiatives going forward. Given the breadth and the activities of the critical WeGo Public Transit and the mission and the advent of the Choose How You Move referendum, different areas of consulting firms and expertise may be used by WeGo in the upcoming years. On February 25th, 2025, the RFP was published by WeGo through our website, social media, and through transittalent.com. The RFP included these 15 scopes, and prior to the ultimate submission, there was a deadline of May 30th, 2025. We had a pre-proposal meeting, and in that meeting, we had 100 representatives in attendance, and the meeting covered the solicitation, the DBE questions, and other outstanding items and concerns. The WeGo procurement staff had to make additions, clarifications, and provide answers to the proposals based off of these submissions. A total of 30 proposals were received. Prior to the development of this book, we had 20 that had been deemed responsive. We had a late submission that came in about a week ago, and so that's be 19 that would be deemed responsive for this particular procurement opportunity. That then brings us to 11 that were looked at as unresponsive, and a protest decision was, which several did go through, and multiple email discussions and hearings. The decision to disqualify some of these proposers has been upheld. Of the remaining 19, the evaluation committee chose 5 proposers in which to interview, and 3 additional companies in which WeGo had previous work history with in other contracts. As you see a list here of the 8 firms that were chosen and recommended, that is Cushion Employer Service Corporation, Deloitte Consulting, LLP, E3 Performance Group, eVision Partners, Guide House, Marine Tiger Technologies, Transpro Consulting, WSP USA. Each submission was scored at a scope level, taking an approach to review at each vendor's total score and the difference of the total score within the capability area. Because firms did not propose on every scope, and to ensure fairness and data-driven allocation of the total program value, staff distributed the total contract value proportionally across the recommended firms based on the evaluation performance which they proposed. The values shown are ceiling amounts only. These are not contract guarantees, and firms will be compensated based on an agreed task order. Based off the evaluation and the approved approach, staff recommended awarding contracts to these 8 firms. 3-year base term, 2-year options. An intent to award was forwarded to all responsive proposers on 10/28/25, and the contracts are being prepared for execution upon board's approval. Today, we bring a recommendation for the on-call comprehensive strategic planning and organizational development support contracts for the staff to recommend that the board authorize our chief executive officer to enter into contracts of the aforementioned contracts and the amounts outlined above, with a total not to exceed $9,765,000 over 3-year base and 2-year, 1-year renewal options. Thank you. Open for questions.
I had one question. When there are task orders, I mean, this might be Steve or I'm not sure who.
Sure.
When there are task orders, do those come back to the board depending on the value of
They
them,
would
or
not.
once we approve the contract?
Once you approve the contract, they would not come back to the board. They will be handled internally by WeGo staff.
Got it.
Well, I think the exception to that is if they exceed the purchasing threshold.
Yes.
They would come back to the board for a final sign-off, and that's a $300,000.
task order is considered to be, got it. Okay.
Yeah, this basically allows us to go to these firms with specific scopes to get quotes, but if there were a higher than $300,000, that task would have to come back to you.
So this is a lot like we did last month as it related to facilities and other things that we just have people ready to call,
That's correct.
Yeah.
sort of fit under the rubric of what we need, and they've already been approved.
Yeah, and we've done it with things like engineering and architectural services, what Patrick brought last month. And really, the goal here is if we had some kind of a $3 million project, we're probably doing a separate procurement. This is going to tend to fall into what I'll call smaller lumps of work.
Awesome. Any other questions? If there are no other questions, I would seek a motion for approval of the staff's recommendation.
Move approval.
Oh, sorry.
You
Thank you for the presentation, Mr. Malone.
Yes, sir. No, you're welcome.
At this point, I would move for the approval of item number MA 25050.
Second.
There's 2 motions, and then there is a second. So this is like really exciting. I love it. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I will call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, the motion carries. You're good.
Thank you,
And
board.
then I think you're up next on the disposing of some real property.
Yes, this one is near and dear to my heart. It's my inauguration into my role when I came to work at WeGo. So, on June 14th, 1996, Nashville MTA acquired approximately an acre, 1.49 acre tract of property from a family, the Alexander and Holcomb family, which is located at 4016 Andrew Jackson Way in Hermitage, Tennessee, which is a neighborhood within the Nashville, Tennessee area. The original intent of the property was to be used as a parking ride lot to support fixed route bus service. Acquisition of property was paid with a combination of federal, state, and city funds. The lot was not built, and subsequently RTA built, then called the Music City Star Commuter Rail Project, with the station park and riding facility located at 4121 Andrew Jackson Way in Hermitage. This is about less than a half mile from the subject property. Upon opening, the bus service was extended to the Hermitage Station, eliminating the need for a park and ride facility at 416 Andrew Jackson Way. This parcel laid dormant for some time. The property came into attention of our organization in the past 2 years or more as it became occupied by the unhoused community. In collaboration with Office of Homeless Services within Metro, the property was cleared, cleaned, re-fenced, posted with no trespassing signs, and environmental review was done. I want to thank Metro Nashville Police Department and Office of Homeless Services with their efforts in that opportunity, but also to thank our WeGo facility staff led by Patrick Hester in making sure that those things were taken care of expediently. The activities have cost the MTA approximately $154,000 over the past 2 years alone, underscoring the fact that the property is no longer needed for public transportation. The Nashville Department of Waste Services, a division of the Metro government, has an interest in acquiring this property to develop a much-needed neighborhood recycling center to serve the surrounding community. In May of 2025, we issued a task order for an appraisal and also an appraisal report in accordance to our FTA guidelines. On August 28, 2025, MTA received a completed revised appraisal and appraisal report from Cushing Wakefield and Todd Rogers Appraisal Services, respectively. The appraisal and subsequent review concluded that the property's market value is listed at $170,000. With the interest of our other agency, the Nashville Department of Waste Services, the proposed reuse for the full support of both the Metro Council representative and this agency, the Department of Waste Services, has recently invested also a site development effort, including an engineering design work that would help with the facilitation of this property and re-imaging it. In accordance with the FTA guidelines, an appraisal and subsequent review that was conducted, both concluding that the property's value is at $170,000. Additionally, we will be requesting the FTA preliminary approval to sell this property for the proposed value, apply the net proceeds for the sale to the replacement property under the same program. We will provide a detailed list of the projects that proceeds will support in accordance to FTA Circular 5010-1F. Come today in recommendation for the MTA staff to ask this board to respectfully request the board to grant approval to submit a request to FTA for property disposition, and subsequently, if approved by FTA, approve the transfer of the real property located at 416 Andrew Jackson Way, Hermitage, Tennessee, to the Department of Waste Services, a division of Metro Government of Nashville, Davidson County, for its appraised value of $170,000, proceeds of which are to be applied to the MTA capital plan in the manner approved by FTA. I conclude, and I now turn over to the board for questions.
Thank you very much. Any questions?
Vince, a couple of questions real quickly.
Yes, sir.
The timing of going through the FTA process, how long will that take, and when is closing anticipated?
With FTA, that's kind of, it's a shot in the dark. But with the great Billy Higgins on our side, I think we can kind of muster up, I would say, in our look at it, we may be looking at from 3 months to 6 months to get it pretty much from soup to nuts to get it done. But we're hoping we can do it a lot sooner and get it turned over.
And then secondly, do we have a list of other excess properties within our portfolio that we need to consider disposing of prior to this same situation happening?
Not to my knowledge at this time. Steve, do you know of any other? I think we
No,
took
we
care of
did
some of
a
those.
search. There's other than the obvious ones like Nestor, Myatt, Central, This is for MTA. RTA obviously has the rail station properties and a couple park and rides. We have kind of an odd piece of property we own on Murfreesboro Pike that was property we acquired for a bus stop improvement, but it's about 2/100ths of an acre, so it's not really a material piece of property.
Great, thank you so much.
Welcome.
Any other questions? If I can call for a motion for approval?
I will move approval of item number MA 25-051.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
There's a motion, second. Any further discussion? Hearing no further discussion, I'll call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All right.
All right, thank you, Board.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate it.
You're welcome. Ms. Frank. Welcome.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, Chair Williams and board members. I'm Debbie Frank,
afternoon.
Deputy CEO for Growth and Development. And I have one board action item for your consideration of award, and it is item number M-A-25-052, Innovation Finance and Asset Concession Grant Implementation Consultant. So some background on the actual grant award. So WeGo Public Transit was one of 27 recipients of the U.S. Department of Transportation Build America Bureau's Innovative Finance and Asset Concession Grant in 2024. The grant provides technical assistance to public entities in assessing existing assets to unlock their value and explore innovative financing, alternative delivery, and public-private partnerships. To advance the implementation of the grant, WeGo Procurement Department on August 6, 2025, issued a request for proposals seeking qualified contractors to aid WeGo in its real estate asset management initiative in the creation of a strategy that builds the transit agency's capacity to capitalize on existing and future real estate assets to generate alternative revenue streams and drive community and economic growth. The announcement of this opportunity was published on WeGo's website through the procurement system OpenGov. WeGo's real estate asset management initiative will incorporate the following: assessment of the existing real estate assets for enhanced value creation, the evaluation of prospective real estate assets for potential enhanced value creation, development of a framework for comprehensive asset management policy that leverages existing and future real estate assets, for example, transit-oriented development, and the creation and implementation of a new staff position to administer the asset management program. So the deadline for submitting proposals was September 1st, 2025. WeGo received 3 responsive proposals with fair and reasonable competitive hourly rates. Proposals were received from Ernst & Young, Greystone Real Estate Advisory Group, and HR&A Advisors. The evaluation committee reviewed the proposals based on the following criteria: qualifications, experience, and references, understanding of the scope of work, sampling of the contractor's statement of work plan and representative projects, and cost. The evaluation committee met on September 26, 2025 to discuss the proposals. Upon the review of the proposals, the evaluation committee voted to seek further clarification. And after receiving clarification from the proposers on October 7th, the evaluation was scored for each proposer. Based on this evaluation, the committee selected Greystone Real Estate Advisory Group to aid WeGo in the implementation of its Innovative Finance and Asset Concession Grant. As such, staff recommends board approval to authorize the Chief Executive Officer to execute a contract with Greystone Real Estate Advisory Group for the Innovative Finance Asset Concession Grant Implementation Consultant Award. The agreement will include a term of 24 months in keeping with the grant period for a total contract amount not to exceed $999,400, which is the total grant award amount. And I will answer any questions.
So first of all, well done getting the grant. And I like your proposal. So just to be clear, the contract is entirely covered by the grant.
Yes.
Got it. That was my question.
So Debbie, this gets me really excited when we start talking about real estate consulting. I'm like a kid in a candy store.
I know.
Where is Greystone based?
They're based in New York City, but there is a project manager that's here in Nashville.
And they have experience with other transportation
Oh, yes.
projects?
Absolutely.
Fantastic. I look forward to being a part of this. Thank you.
Any other questions? Hearing none, I will call for a motion.
I will move approval of item number MA 25-052.
Thank you very much. There's a motion.
Second.
There's a motion. There's a second. Any further questions? Any further comments? Hearing no further discussion, I will call for the vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. There you go.
Thank you, Debbie.
Thank you.
And I know you have another thing, but I'm gonna sort of take something a little bit out of order. I
Okay.
know Ms. Bim has a calendar item to present to us. If you could sort of, can I ask you to come up now to do that, Margaret? Yes, yes, yes. Most definitely.
In your board packet, you will see a proposed calendar for next year, and it's on the last page of the board packet. And where the meetings are scheduled are to be determined at this time, but want to make sure it's on your calendar. And so it is the fourth Thursday of every month at 2:30, except for November and December, where it's moved up 1 week to accommodate schedules for Thanksgiving and December. So, Madam Chair, if this is acceptable to the board, could you ask for a motion to accept this as our board meeting schedule for 2026?
Absolutely. Thank you very much. I would ask for a motion for approval of the 2026 MTA board meeting schedule.
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion, there's a second. Any further discussion? Hearing none, I'll call for the vote for our meeting schedule. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye, I guess that means we're meeting next year, huh? Thank you very much. Thank you. And Ms. Frank, thank you for your patience in allowing me to put that in between. So you're back up.
I am back up, and I am so pleased to have the opportunity to share with the board an update on the Donaldson Station. Let's see if we can move here. There we go. The Donaldson Station upgrade project that materialized actually as part of a joint development opportunity at the station. So we will look at Donaldson Station in the context of downtown Nashville, how the joint development opportunity came about. Because this deal is under the purview of the RTA board, I will not go into those details. My presentation will focus on the planned station transit infrastructure upgrades, funding support to date, and next steps for the public infrastructure investment. So this graphic illustrates the location of Donaldson Station in context of downtown Nashville. Donaldson Station is the yellow star there to your right. The station is one of 3 WeGo Star stations in Davidson County. The station is adjacent to the historic Bluefield neighborhood, which was established in 1929, so it is a 96-year-old neighborhood. Local bus route to downtown is taken by route, local bus service, I should say, is offered by Route 6, Lebanon Pike into downtown. With the transit infrastructure upgrades, we will add future service to the airport and Opry Mills area. Donaldson Station itself is roughly 2 miles from the airport, making this a great park and ride option for that future bus route service to the airport. So on June 13, 2022, RTA received an unsolicited proposal from H.E. Hills and Southeast Ventures to lease a portion of the existing RTA property to advance mixed-use development consisting of housing, retail, and commercial space to complement the rail station and to generate long-term revenue for the authority. As part of the overall project, parking for the WeGo patrons would be sustained and the overall functionality of the station improved. The total redevelopment area is roughly 9 acres along a portion of Lebanon Pike and Donaldson Pike. And based on the unsolicited proposal, the RTA board awarded a period of exclusive negotiation that has been since extended to allow the further development of designs and the business agreements. So where are we? The FTA NEPA checklist has been completed. We have completed the Donaldson Station Transit Center operational requirements, as well as the concept for a 6-bus bay loop at the station. Construction design is in progress. We have reached 60% completion of those designs, and the nearer property purchase, as well as RTA and the H.E. Hill land swap, is also in progress. This map shows what would become future RTA property, highlighted in purple, making the transit infrastructure upgrades possible and the opportunity for more contiguous property ownership for both RTA and H.G. Hill. So when we look at the specific transit infrastructure investment, it's going to include a new transit center, the relocation of NES power lines, new roadways, new signalized intersection at Donaldson Pike, bus-only corridor access, the 6-bus bay loop I mentioned earlier, and quiet zones at the railroad crossings. I mentioned earlier that the Donaldson Station abuts the historic Bluefield neighborhood, and parts of the upgrade is to implement quiet zones for the 2 railroad crossings, whereby there will no longer be a need for a train conductor to use horns at the railroad crossings. So you can see the existing noise contours to your left and the dramatic change after the quiet zones installation, a dramatic change. And as I shared earlier, we are adding a transit center here at the Donaldson Station, and that transit center at this location has been identified in previous MTA service plans, and its necessity is becoming more and more fitting when we think about the passage of the Mayor O'Connell's Choose How You Move transit improvement program with planned new and expanded bus service in the area. And this is a list of the customer amenities and WeGo operational needs. And I'm not going to read the entire list, but you can see that it definitely mimics some of the offerings that we have at recently transit centers that we brought online. And this graphic just shows the 6-bus bay location within that bus-only corridor, as well as a proposed location for the transit center. Project funding to date is just over $29 million, representing federal, state, and local funds. We are very appreciative of the congressionally directed appropriation from Congressman Rose. Funds pending from state and local sources are approximately $9 million. The total projected transit infrastructure budget is nearly $38 million. So next steps for public infrastructure investment. We will begin public engagement in the new year to share and receive feedback on the proposed transit infrastructure investment. We look at the successful community engagement held for the Dr. Ernest Rip Patton Jr. Transit Center as a model example for the community engagement. We will continue forward with the land swap between RTA and H.G. Hill. We will execute the MOU for the NES power lines relocation. We'll be working to finalize construction drawings and moving through the procurement process that ultimately puts us in a position to award a contract for the transit infrastructure work as well as the quiet zone construction. And that concludes my presentation, and I'm happy to answer any questions.
Debbie, on our building that we are proposing, are we going to have other uses on top of it vertically, or will it just be for our own use?
So right now, we're exploring a standalone. The initial concept with the developer actually included something atop the transit center. We don't know how it will all, work out because of all the things being in real estate, it's just uncertain times. So right now we're planning for what could amount to a standalone, but it could evolve into something else.
Jeff, the original conception was for it to be sort of a joint development project with the transit center integrated within. From the beginning, we knew, because projects might move at different paces, and part of our service plan is to develop the Donaldson Transit Center. Debbie's group kind of designed it that they could go together, they could come apart. So the infrastructure improvements, basically relocating transit operations to the perimeter of the site, adjacent to the tracks, creating the signalized intersection on Donaldson Pike. Quiet zones could go independently. And that while the RTA has kept open and extended the period of exclusive negotiations, so while that period's ongoing, if the developer can make the overall, on RTA structured parking with their multifamily development work, that's great, they can do that. Otherwise, the land swaps and the design of the center she's talking about would leave that property as development ready if market conditions in the future would permit that.
Okay, thank you.
All right.
This is super exciting.
It is very exciting. Yes.
We've been talking about this for a little bit. So it's
And
good.
I would like to commend Debbie for she came on board at exactly the right time, because I was hip deep in this stuff till she came on board. And now she updates me once a month, and that's cool. So this is,
That's great.
likely to be the next transit center that we bring online. So we expect to be under construction sometime late next year.
That's incredible.
Okay.
Well done. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you.
Okay, well, that concludes both our new initiative and community engagement committee reports, as well as our operations and finance. So that means it's on you, Mr. Bland. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and two remaining members of the board and general counsel. Few items to report on. First of all, I will echo and amplify a couple things that Gail highlighted earlier. Sincerest accolades for Zita and her team, watching them in action through that massive and accelerated ramp up of Journey Pass was really a sight to see. Gail is correct. I was there for a bit of time, and a lady did come up and hug me. So, in my role, that's usually something you're a little nervous about, but that particular one went very well and super appreciative and really touching. Also want to add my congratulations to our 2025 rodeo team and everyone who supports them. If you're ever out at, I know, Gail, you've been to them at our, even at our local rodeos. Family members are working, staff are working, so it really is a company-wide effort, and it's always really gratifying to see folks win. But a bit of detail, and I know that this always kind of irritates, so I'm president of the state association, and I know Earl always takes issue with us in that we only offer competition on 30-foot buses, because that's what most of our small urban operators in the state run, is 30-foot buses. We do not operate 30-foot buses. So I think any of our bus operators would tell you they are different. So the fact that Mark was actually able to place so high is really a recognition of his skills. I think Andy's trying to plan to buy 30-foot buses. He says we need them in service. I think it's more for competitive advantage in the rodeo, but that remains to be seen. A couple other items. During the past month, Nashville hosted a meeting of the board and leadership of Accelerated for America. This organization is led by an advisory council of numerous mayors, city council members, and other elected officials from the U.S., and they support cities and regions in generating funding for local infrastructure projects. And in fact, Accelerated for America was integral in supporting Mayor O'Connell's move to get Choose How You Move on the ballot and get the campaign kicked off and what have you. As part of their meeting, we were integrally involved. We presented at sessions. We were involved in some of the other activities. And I had the honor of co-guiding a bus tour with Mayor O'Connell of the attendees. And that tour included the wonderful Kia Lewis and the Dr. Ernest Patton Jr. North Nashville Center. I will only say this, that if Mayor O'Connell ever decides that elected office is not for him anymore, he'd be an amazing tour guide of Nashville. I learned an awful lot on the tour with him. On October 30th, many of us are privileged to attend the Trans Alliance of Middle Tennessee's Breakfast for Better Mobility. The event was extremely well attended. It recognized several outstanding contributors and projects to mobility in our region and featured an engaging guest speaker. So congratulations, Jess isn't here, but congratulations to her for another great event. Seems like attendance is bigger and better every year. And also want to thank Gail and Iran for joining a number of our staff representing WeGo at that event. As referenced by Council Member Evan Segal, I attended a joint meeting of the Metropolitan Council Budget and Finance and Transportation Infrastructure Committees to support Sabrina Sussman of the Mayor's Office in briefing the committees on the status of the Choose How You Move initiative and to answer their questions. Another event in Nashville. Nashville is becoming very popular for transportation groups. The Women's Transportation Seminar held its board meeting in Nashville earlier this month. And as part of that meeting, they visited the Elizabeth Duff Transit Center at WeGo Central. Our own Amanda Vandergrift presented to the group, and we participated in some of the social events. WTS is a national organization that advocates training and professional development for all transportation professionals, but particularly women leaders in the field. Several of us, including our chair, Gail Carr-Williams, joined Mayor O'Connell on November 5th for an event commemorating the first anniversary of the passage of Choose How You Move, the Choose How You Move ballot initiative. And as part of the event, we cut the ribbon on a brand new queue jump on Murfreesboro Pike. That queue jump was a result of several years of collaboration between our staff at WeGo and staff at the Nashville Department of Transportation and Intermodal Infrastructure. And I want to highlight what Katie was saying about 4th Avenue, the bus lane pilot project. And I want to give real credit to Director Diana Alarcon at NDOT and her staff for actively engaging with us on ways to make transit move more smoothly through Nashville. On a monthly basis, our staff meets with NDOT staff, and one of the hottest topics is how can we make those sorts of mobility improvements to relieve some of those pinch points. And that queue jump that we cut the ribbon a couple weeks ago was exactly one of those initiatives that our team and the NDOT team have been working on. Our partnership with the Titans remains very positive, and we're getting great ridership results on our fare-free Sundays and supplemental service on home game Sundays. This past month, I got to participate with Mayor O'Connell and Haley Davidson from the Titans on a panel that Leadership Tennessee hosted. Basically, the panel was about coordinating large infrastructure investments. So we had the opportunity to talk about how the development of the new Nissan Stadium and the development of the East Bank Transit infrastructure improvements will work in complementary fashion to both enhance mobility for Nashville, but also to make us more special event ready as we get more and larger events. Another really proud event, on November 13th, we partnered with the Tennessee Department of Labor and Workforce Development to celebrate another signing day for our maintenance apprenticeship program. So we signed on 6 brand new apprentices. You may recall that we partnered with ATU Local 1235 and the Department of Labor and Workforce Environment several years ago to initiate this program. So we're looking forward in about 3 years, give or take, to have those new apprentices sitting right over there to be recognized as they graduate from the board. A couple of RTA items. We're working actively on the City of Murfreesboro Park and Ride facility. We'll be going to City Council for some final approvals on zoning and site plans in early December. We're working with the city on a memorandum of understanding for long-term operation and maintenance of the lot. And then once that happens, we anticipate bidding out the construction. And I think our development team's goal is to have it done by the end of the year. Our actual goal is to have it open in time for the Titan season starts so we can extend Titan service out to Rutherford County. At their meeting earlier this week, I think Carl's still here. Carl has a big smile on his face because the RTA board approved the purchase of 10 new over-the-road coaches to put in service on our regional operations. That will complete, basically, we will now own all of the fleet operated in regional service, and we won't be needing to have the contract operator lease that anymore. Also at their meeting, Director of Operations Nick Pachenko reported on our annual rail audit, and overall our rail contractor is doing an outstanding job in the field of safety, service reliability, and maintenance of our fleet and assets and regulatory compliance. Finally, I'll end on another super positive note. I want to extend congratulations from myself and our staff to our esteemed chair, Gail Carr-Williams. Gail was recently recognized by the Community Foundation of Middle Tennessee as one of their 2025 Game Changers. It's been a game changer for us for an awful lot of years, Gail. It's nice that somebody else finally recognized it. Foundation's Game Changers recognizes Black philanthropic leaders in the Nashville community who embody the West African spirit of Sankofa, which in its simplest terms means go back and get it. And I think if any statement epitomizes Gail Carr-Williams, that would be it. So incredibly appropriate. I'd encourage everybody to go to the foundation's website and look up the award. Jessica tipped me off. Gail would never tell me about this, so Jessica tipped me off. I went and I looked at the awards. I looked at the other awardees, and it's really inspirational. So I would encourage everybody to go to the Community Foundation website and take a look. But unless there are any questions, Madam Chair, that concludes my report.
No, thank you very much. Anybody, you have, Jeff, any questions for Steve? So Katie, we're in the same boat today. We're both embarrassed, right? Thank you very much, Steve, for the acknowledgement. And Katie, congratulations on your award. I know we've said it about 5 times to you now, but I'm gonna say it one more time because it's just nice to know that you're being acknowledged beyond just here because you do extraordinary work, and I appreciate it. I don't have much. I sort of gave you a lot earlier, so I just want to say it's Thanksgiving. And a time of Thanksgiving is like my favorite holiday. And it's a time for so much gratitude. And there's no pressure for the gratitude because it's just a season of gratitude. So I just want you all to know that my gratitude for what you do, not only for our citizens in Nashville, but what you do for each other and what you do for our board. I am deeply, deeply appreciative and am grateful that I get to lead in this role. So I thank you too for the gift. So as we all take the time and pause with our families and we think about the blessings that are bestowed upon us, just remember that grace and kindness lead to all good things, and take those moments and embrace the giving season. All right, y'all, we all are adjourned. We good. Don't eat too much turkey.
This has been a service of the Metro Nashville Network. If you would like to see this presentation again, or for more information on this and other programs, visit nashville.gov.